You may be familiar with the trigonometric function of tangent, but inverse tangent may be somewhat foreign to you. So I'm going to go ahead and write out SOHCAHTOA, which is S-O-H-C-A-H-T-O-A. And so the S stands for sine, the C stands for cosine, and the T stands for tangent, which are all trigonometric functions. Then the O stands for opposite, and the A stands for adjacent. And then if you were dealing with sine or cosine, you need to know that H stands for hypotenuse. But that's not pertinent to when we're using tangent. So if you used tangent before, you probably used it in a situation somewhat like this. So you had the trigonometric function there, and then you had an angle measure, and then you had opposite divided by adjacent. So you had the measure of one leg of the triangle divided by the measure of another leg of the triangle. And so you were trying to find one of these missing legs. So say you knew what opposite was, then you would plug in the number 7 there, and you'd use this equation to find the measure of this adjacent leg. But when you use inverse tangent, we don't write it quite like that. We write it tangent, and then we use an exponent of -1. Or we could put this exponent right there. And when we use the inverse of tangent, we're using it to find an angle measure. So right here, we know the measures of all the sides of this triangle. So here we're trying to find this angle measure right here of x. And we know this is a right triangle because that square right there tells us that is a 90-degree angle. And SOHCAHTOA only works with right triangles. So we're looking for x right here. So this time we write tan -1. And then we just write x because we can't fill in that variable because that's what we're trying to solve for. So now we just need to identify which leg is the opposite of this angle and which leg is adjacent to x. And so the leg that's opposite is 5. And the leg that's adjacent is also 5 because this leg right here is opposite of x and this leg right here is adjacent to x. And then of course the hypotenuse is the side of the triangle across from the 90-degree angle. It's the really long side, but that's not pertinent to us. So we're just doing 5 divided by 5, and we're taking the inverse tangent of that. So I'll go ahead and save you the math, but the answer is 45 degrees. And so we can replace x right there with 45 degrees. Another way some people write inverse of tangent is like this, ARCTAN, which stands for arctangent. But some people write it the long way like that with an exponent of -1. Some people write inverse tangent. Some people write inverse of tangent. But the most common and simple way is like this right here with the abbreviation for tangent of TAN with an exponent of -1.